Hello, I'm Ollie and this is CriminOlly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, crime, pulp and horror, it's my weekly wrap-up. So I'm filming this a bit earlier than normal on a Saturday. I've got quite a busy weekend ahead of me, so my intention is to try and get through this in one take. So I have to do very minimal editing of it. So we'll see we'll see how I get on. I don't tend to do a huge amount of editing in my videos anyway, but I do have to clip out bits where my brain just completely fails me. So hopefully that won't happen in this video, and I can get through it in a single take. We shall see. So normal kind of format today. I'm going to talk about what I've been reading over the last week, what I'm reading at the moment, and then just some channel stuff. So just give you some updates on stuff that has been on the channel and stuff that's coming on the channel. I've also got a couple of books that have come in the mail this week to show you, so I'll do that at the end. Right, so let's talk about what I've read. So let's do physical books first. So I've got a couple of things here. So I think I just started this when I did this video last week, or was just about to. So What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I won't talk too much about it because I'm going to be doing a video on it shortly. But a very interesting book. I liked it a lot. So it's kind of a retelling of the Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, but with a load of kind of modern twists. So yeah, definitely a good book. Yeah, and I will share my fuller thoughts on it soon. I also read this one, The Big Book of the Continental Op by Dashiell Hammett. So I didn't read the whole of the big book. What I read was The Cleansing of Poisonville, which is a series of 4 short stories that was later republished as Red Harvest, a novel. So what I don't know is what the difference is between The Cleansing of Poisonville and Red Harvest. And if you buy it nowadays, I think you can only buy it as Red Harvest unless you buy this collected edition. So yeah, basically it's 4 short stories. The Continental Op is like this kind of detective who works for the Continental Detective Agency, and he goes to this town called Personville, which the locals call Poisonville, to kind of clean it up basically, and does so over the course of 4 stories. So they were it wasn't quite as an amazing as experience as I expected it to be. I was thinking it was going to be really, really great, and it was good, but it wasn't amazing. So they've got a really nice kind of hard-boiled feel to them, these stories. The Continental Op is quite an interesting character himself. He's just kind of really determined, but he's physically interesting as well. He's kind of not your typical pulpy detective character in that he's quite short and a bit overweight basically, but he's not afraid to put his guns out when he needs to. So there's a load of fun action in the books as well, and quite complex and interesting plots as you'd expect from Dashiell Hammett. So yeah, definitely a fun read. So aside from that, then on my Kindle I have been reading, what have I finished? So I finished Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke. So I'm actually holding up my Kindle rather than putting up a picture to save myself a bit of time in the editing. So yeah, I'm letting you in on all the secrets. So I have done a review of this one on the channel. This was pretty good. It wasn't amazing. The beginning is fantastic. So the first third or so is really, really good. And after that, I felt like it lost its way a little bit. But yeah, an enjoyable, very horrific horror story. So yeah, it was a decent read. So currently reading then 2 things. So I'm reading Demons by Daylight by Ramsey Campbell, which is a fairly early short story collection from Campbell. In fact, it might even be his first short story collection. So this is really good so far. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it, and there's like an everydayness to the stories, which really pulls you in. So he does a great job, and all the stories are fairly short. He does a great job of kind of introducing the characters and the situation, and you feel like you kind of get to know these people. But then all of them, as you'd expect from Campbell, have got a really kind of eerie and macabre twist to them. So yeah, a very, very impressive collection so far. Enjoying that a lot. And then, so also currently reading Suicide Forest by Jeremy Bates. So this is a buddy read that I'm doing with one of my patrons, Georgianne. So this is part of a series Bates has done called, I think it's called The World's Scariest Places. This one obviously about the famous suicide forest in Japan where lots of people go to kill themselves. So it's so far I would say it's not amazing, but it's definitely good. It's very readable. Basically, you've got this bunch of people who decide to go and camp in the suicide forest, which clearly is a terrible idea. And things are starting to unravel. So I'm a little over halfway through. Things are starting to unravel for them. It is quite creepy at times. The characters are decently well drawn, and it's definitely a page turner. It's also got like quite a lot of kind of interesting little bits of information about Japanese society and culture, which I'm quite enjoying, including the fact that apparently in Japan, having like slightly crooked teeth is considered quite fashionable. So clearly I'm a bit of a trendsetter. So yes, I'm enjoying it a lot so far, and enjoying doing the buddy read with Georgianne as well. So that's what I've read, and what I am. Oh, I missed one. I knew I'd missed one. I've sat here the whole time thinking, I'm sure there's another book I've read. Right, so the other book I read is the best book I've read this week, Deep Water by Patricia Highsmith. This was so good. So Anne Novella and I, so Anne's another booktuber, are doing a read through of all of Patricia Highsmith's novels. This is, I think, her 5th novel, and I think it's the best one we've read so far. And you know, we've read some really, really good ones, so the fact that this is the best is saying something. So it's about as are a lot of her books, it's about kind of quite a dysfunctional couple, where the man is basically a psychopath, and the wife is effectively like a bit of a flirt, and has had affairs with various other men, and the husband knows about this and seems to be completely cool about it, but then starts joking. So one of her previous lovers has died. He was murdered, and the husband starts joking that he killed him, and it kind of gradually builds up from there. It's a very strange book, but fantastically well written. She's so good at writing psychopathic characters, and I mean she does it again and again. So I've talked about Stranger on a Train on the channel, where the character Bruno is in some ways quite similar to the character in this, and her other really famous book is The Talented Mr. Ripley, where again Ripley is this kind of sociopathic character who just basically does whatever he wants. So yeah, in a very similar vein, but just fantastic. Such a good book. I really, really loved it. Okay, so that's the book stuff out of the way then. So and what am I going to read next? I'm not sure. What have I got on my TBR to read next? I think I might read... Sorry, I'm going to have to move books here. I think I might read this one next. The Conjure Man Dies. So this looks really interesting. The first African American detective novel. So yeah, I might give that a try next. So in terms of channel stuff, then, what have you had over the last week? So you've had a video every day as normal. I've had a couple of top 10s. So I did my top 10 most 1970s horror novels from the 1970s, which was just a bit of fun, really. I did a top 10 diverse horror novels, or horror novels by diverse authors. I did my video about War and Peace and why I didn't manage to finish War and Peace. A review of Kin, as discussed already, and also did a review this week of 1974 by David Peace, a very, very disturbing crime novel, and did the music tag as well, where I talk about some of my favourite music, so that was quite fun too. In the week ahead, I haven't really got it terribly well planned out yet. So I think my Sunday ramble kind of video tomorrow is going to be about like gatekeepering, and the difference between being a passionate fan of something and being a gatekeeper who kind of puts blockers in the ways of people who want to get into that thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to do a video about that. I just need to let the thoughts kind of germinate a bit more in my brain before I get to that one. And then I'll do a couple of reviews as well. So I think I'm probably going to do a review of Suicide Forest if I finish that. And also I might do my review of The King in Yellow by Robert W. Chambers, which I keep on saying I'm going to do and not getting around to. So it's quite a complicated book to talk about, I think. So I need to figure out if I can do that, but I'll probably have a go. And then I think I will probably do... I'm expecting my monthly Abominable Book Club box to turn up this month, so I'll do an unboxing video for that. And I need to come up with something for Monday as well, and a tag. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll come up with something. So that's the channel stuff then. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to talk about with regards to the channel is comments. So I've talked about comments on the channel before, and my ongoing battle to try and keep up with the comments. I love getting comments on my videos. It's really interesting to hear what people think of the videos. And what I've tried to do up until now is reply to all of those comments. And for a while I was able to do that. As the channel has grown, it's become more and more difficult. And I've still tried to keep on doing it. And I'm just not able to. There's just too many comments, which is fantastic. And I certainly don't want people to stop commenting. Because I think for me, as I said, I think I said in my last video, or this video last week, I view the comments as kind of an extension of the channel, and it's wonderful to see kind of conversations starting up in the comments between people where people are sharing their experiences of a particular book and things like that. So I think I need to admit to myself and to all of you that I just can't keep up with the comments. I can't reply to all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'll continue to read all of them, and I will reply to the ones that particularly catch my eye. You'll know that I've read your comment because I'll tick the heart emoji to say that I loved it. So you'll know that I've read them. But yeah, I think I need to admit that replying to all of them has just become an impossibility, which is a great problem to have. So yeah, do keep on commenting. But yeah, I certainly can't guarantee anymore that I'll be able to reply to all of them, I'm afraid. Right, so I promised a mini book haul at the end as well. So 2 things have come in this week. So one is issue 9 of Occult Detective magazine. So this was sent to me by Dave Brzezinski, one of the publishers. So I've read a couple of these in the past. They're really entertaining. So this has got, by the looks of it, about a dozen short stories in it from a variety of authors. So looking forward to those. And then 4 or 5, so 4 articles and a review as well. So yeah, looking forward to diving into this soon, and we'll report back and let you all know what it's like. And then also got sent very kindly by one of my patrons, Mariah, this book, The Shadow Glass by Josh Winning, which is, I don't know if you can see, but it's beautifully presented in terms of being a like a VHS cassette. So there's actually like the little VHS label at the bottom there. And it's about by the sound of it, it's about a guy who was like a Jim Henson type character who created all these puppets, and then has died. And his son, I think, his son goes home and discovers that the puppets are alive in some way. So it sounds really, really fun. A nice kind of nostalgic throwback thing to those kind of movies of the 80s, like Labyrinth and things like that. So yeah, looking forward to diving into that soon. So again, thank you very much for that, Mariah. Okay, time for a random book from the shelves. So today's book was selected by one of my patrons, Georgianne, who I'm doing the buddy read with at the moment. Today's book is The Lingering by SJI Holiday, which I read a few years ago. And I think actually I got this in one of the early Abominable Book Club subscription boxes. So this is a really fun kind of haunted house type story about a place that's it's like a kind of a commune where people go to like chill out and detox and things like that. But it used to be a mental hospital. And there's all sorts of weird stuff going on. So it's a few years since I read it, but I remember it being really quite an entertaining and scary read. So yeah, I've got a few more books by SJI Holiday. She also writes kind of crime fiction under the name Susie Holiday. So I've got a few of those on my Kindle, which I keep meaning to get to and failing to because there's just too many books. So I hope you found that interesting. Let me know if you've read any of the books I talked about. Let me know what you thought of them. Let me know what you've been reading this week. And as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.